we will today we will talk about democracy. Okay.
Let's try and see if it's
What?
better than. Yeah, it's better.
Well, it's better for it's better for the video. Yes, it's better for the video. Okay.
So much better.
Today I guess it's 7th. Yeah. 7 September 2020. Okay. We'll have an introduction to democracy. Okay. And the objective is understand democracy and its components. Okay? Basically, that is our class today. Okay? An introduction to democracy, and the objective is to understand what is democracy and its components. Okay? When I say democracy, what comes to your mind? What is democracy? Así.
Everyone gets to speak in.
Again?
Everyone gets their voice represented.
Okay. That is a very good approach to the concept. Yes. Anyone else could define democracy in another way with other words? No idea? Yes.
Equal rights.
Equal rights. Okay. We will say that human rights will be an expression of democracy. Yes, that's true. That's not the only one, but yes.
It's not based on traditions or it's not monarchy.
Okay. It's not based on traditions. It's not like based on monarchy. But what if I say that Spain, England, Sweden, and other countries have a king or a queen and they still democracies?
Then what would you call
So
it?
maybe that having a king doesn't mean that you are not a democracy, or even worse, having a president elected by votes does not mean necessarily that your democracy is a strong democracy. Okay? So we have to analyze, okay? Because there are presidents that were elected by the people that you find that the government is a tyrannic government, a very aggressive government with the people, okay? Or you can find that there are democracies even with a king or a queen, okay? But what you are saying is one of the principles of the French Revolution, is the principle of one very important concept that is connected to democracy, that is republic, okay? And what you say is brilliant, but it's not. But we can't apply it to all the examples, okay? Democracy comes from demos and kratos, okay? Both words, okay, are Greek words, okay? Demos, we studied something similar. Well, we used this expression the last year in geography, demography, okay, when we studied the population. When you listen demos, it's because we are talking about people, okay? People. Kratos means power, okay? So the definition of democracy, if we follow this simple deduction, is that democracy is the power of the people, okay? Or in other words, that the people have the power, okay? That is basically the idea of democracy. Now, it's not that simple. We have a lot of things like human rights, very good, that express the democracy, okay? If we want to say that we have a democracy, we have to analyze like a checklist with some elements that if we accomplish that, we are in a democracy. If not, then no, okay? What is the first thing that comes to your mind as a democratic procedure of or something that is normal in democracies.
Voting.
Voting, yes, that is the first thing. So the first thing that we will say here is participation. Okay? Participation, basically we can vote. Okay? Here we have to clarify something, that there are direct and non-direct democracies. Okay? What do you think is a direct democracy? What do you guess?
People and the president are
When the people and the president what?
never mind.
No mind? Okay. Let me see. Amanda, what do you think is a direct democracy? No idea? That is your answer? Okay. I will say that a direct democracy is a democracy, okay, or a procedure where the people can say not with representatives, I mean, they can say directly the opinion and the suggestion, okay? For example, we have to take a decision about a road that we will create, we will construct, okay? So you consider that this is the best option, or that one is the best option. You can say it directly to the people that is building that road, and you are listening, okay? Something important here is that the direct democracy is for small groups, okay? For small groups. Because it's very difficult to listen one by one the opinion, okay? If the group is huge, okay? So the direct democracies are used in institutions, like for example in the schools or in companies, in a football team, okay? Because they are not that much and your voice can be listened directly, okay? That doesn't mean that in a non-direct democracy your voice is not listened. Okay, you can speak there, okay? But the problem is that, for example, my country, we have 45 million people in Colombia, okay? Try to take a decision in a direct way with 45 million people, okay? It's impossible, okay? So in this case, in a non-direct democracy, we use the figure of the representative. Okay? In the Congress, in the Parliament, this person will say what I want he say. Okay? This person will express my ideology. Okay? So that is the reason why I vote for him. Okay? That is the reason why I vote for him. Here I vote for decisions. Here I vote for people that will take the decisions. Okay? Clear? Good. You want to say something?
So for direct democracy, the people and the government are one.
Yes, yes. Here we have a division that is the government and the citizens. Okay?
So it's, the representative is kind of like a filter for all of the voices.
Like the bridge that connects the government, or I will say even better, the state with the citizens. Okay? Good.
So non-direct is more common?
Another is?
Non-direct more common than
Yes,
direct.
yes. This is basically what is happening in all countries. Okay? Because even if the country has not a big population like Qatar, okay? Anyway, it's huge. Okay? It's difficult to imagine the population of Qatar all together taking decisions. Okay? So we have to delegate. Okay? Is it clear? Good. Perfect. Now, another thing that is important in this first point of participation is that you can vote and choose the person that represents your ideology, okay? I have this person that is really concerned about the greenhouse effect and the global warming, okay? Good, I prefer this person. There is another person that is always concerned about security and the improvement of the army. Okay, that is another person that I can vote for. There is another person that is really concerned about rights of minorities, specifically women. Okay, good. I can vote for that person. You choose the person that represents better your ideology, okay? Your concerns. But what if you have the ideas and you want to be the congressman or the congresswoman? You can, okay? So here we have another element. There is not, and this is part of the democracy, there is not an elite, okay? A limited group of people that can participate. In this case, if you are 18 or more and you have the studies and the things that you consider are enough for being the representative, you can be elected, okay? You can be the candidate, okay? So we have in different Congress, in different parliaments around the globe, okay? Teachers, farmers, doctors, a lot of people that they are not necessarily the traditional people in politics because they were elected by people, okay? They were elected by other group of people that consider that this person was the best option, okay? Clear? So you vote, you can elect, or you can be elected. First, very obvious point. What do you think is the second element in a democracy? Something that is democratic. Nadia?
Freedom of speech.
Yes. Yes. The freedom of speech, okay, or expression, okay? You can express your opinion, okay? But what are the elements that represent this, the freedom of speech, the freedom of expression? We have
Protest.
like three options. Okay, the first one like protest, or yes, you can do a parade, protest, a demonstration. Yes, that is an option. That will be simplified according to the chart of the United Nations and the Declaration of Human Rights, because you use the expression human rights, and you are right. Okay, is assembly. Okay, we have the right to assemble. We have the right to get together to fight for our rights. Okay, Black Lives Matter. That is an expression of a democratic process. Okay, well, sometimes the things went wrong if they start violence or whatever, but the right of the people saying that we have to be protected, okay, and that the black lives matter the same that the white ones, okay, in the streets, okay, stopping the traffic and everything, is an option. We can do that, okay? That is one right that we have, and it's a democratic right. The second one will be the free press, okay? We can read the newspapers that we want, and this is the most important part. The journalists are free to investigate and publish what they consider that they have to publish, okay? If they have to open a scandal of corruption of the government, they can do it, okay? No one can censor the newspapers or the TV news, okay? Because that is one right that we have, the right of information, okay? And here we have something important, is the recommendation always. If you want to exercise your right to speech, please first exercise your right to understand, okay? Because if you're gonna protest for something that at the end is something ridiculous because the information that you are saying is wrong, then you are exercising your rights in a very bad way, okay? I can tell you, for example, that there are in the streets, for example, people protesting in the United States, okay? Because white lives matter too, okay? Okay, of course, normally they have here the Make America Great Again, and you know what it means, no? But what are you saying? You need to read the real information, you need to study the real situation then you can say what you consider that is okay, okay? But if you are following only the messages in WhatsApp that your aunt or your uncle is sending and you didn't investigate if that is true or not, probably you will fail. That is why free press is important, because you can take decisions like here, okay, based on real information, okay, and accurate information. When you have problems in democracy, normally you find that the journalists are persecuted by the government or by illegal groups that are connected to people in the government. Okay, this is very normal. Okay, and it's absolutely sad. Okay, and finally, I will say this. Okay, free education. But I mean free, not about the money that you pay or not, okay? When I say free education is that we, the teachers, and you, the students, are free to study the topics that you consider that are needed, okay? And the government can't stop you if you, for example, as a teacher, want to say something that the government disagree, okay? If I have to explain the government of Colombia, nowadays, and I have to say that my president is failing in this, and this point, probably, I will be absolutely free to say that, okay? If there is someone from the Ministry of Education knocking the door and say, excuse me, teacher, you can't say that, that is prohibited. We have a problem in our democracy, okay? Clear? Good? Perfect. These are basically the things that we can say and do, okay? When we say free press, sometimes we are including now the networks, okay, that we use now, okay, the social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that kind of things. If we can't publish something about political decisions because they will close my account or something, then you are persecuted, and that is not democratic, okay? The first and the second point are okay. Good, perfect. Okay, I will write the third here. The third point is the division of power. Okay, basically 3 branches. This is something that we talked about the last year, so I will say this very fast, okay? I won't go deep on it, okay? This represents a balance of power, okay? And we have the 3 branches. What are those 3 branches? Come on, you tell me. Yes, perfect. Legislative, executive, and judicial. The role of legislative branch is basically to create the laws, okay? They will write the laws, and they will have another very important role, that is the political control, okay? If the president is doing something that is not okay for a group of the people in this country, the representatives that you have there will say the speeches that are needed to persuade people, okay? I will give you the same example that I explained yesterday, is that in my country, for example, the last week, the Congress had a very serious discussion with the president, okay? Because the president was impulsing, okay, the fracking, okay, that idea of extracting oil, exploiting with water, the rocks and that kind of things, okay, fracking, that is the name, okay. They would use water with a huge pressure, okay, and that will break the rocks. That is why the name fracking. And then the oil can come to a specific point and they can extract it, okay? But that is dangerous according to the scientists and politicians and people that is against this option, because that option can pollute the ocean or the water that is in the underground. Okay? The president in Colombia was in favor of fracking. Okay? He said yes to the fracking. Okay? Some friends of this man were in favor of fracking too in the Congress, but the majority was against, and they voted against fracking. Fortunately, because I support the idea of no fracking, fortunately the representatives against this idea won, so fracking is prohibited in Colombia. Okay? They have that option. They create laws, but at the same time they control the political ideas and ideologies that are convenient or not to the country. Okay? Executive. What is the role of the executive? Basically, he will execute the laws and decisions taken by the legislative. Okay? In other words, they say that this is allowed or this is prohibited. So the president will take that and will say, okay, so if my country needs this, this, and this, I have to take the money for that, I have to plan the roads, I have to plan the budget to this project, etc., etc. In other words, the executive, that is the president and the ministers, okay, are normally considered the most important politicians in any country, okay? I disagree. I consider that the legislative is the most important, but that is my opinion. But I understand, because they say what to do, but the executive is the one that do it, okay? That's it, okay? So that is the important role of this person, okay? That is why you see him or her that much in the TV news, okay? Because he is doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this, he's doing that. That is his role, okay? Judicial is the branch that, yes, that uses the laws, okay, in order to condemn the criminals if it's needed, for example, okay? And they keep the justice in the country. The final thing to say here is that this balance of power that was invented by a French, very important man that we will study, that is Montesquieu. Okay, this French person created this, and the reason was basically because if we have the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch, okay, they can control each other, okay, and we have a balance. If we concentrate, as you said about the king, Amina, you said something about the king, okay? That we don't have king now. Okay, normally the king in the Middle Ages concentrated completely the power, all the power, in one single person. Now, that is not possible, okay? If the executive is doing something wrong, the legislative will denounce it, okay? The same in the judicial, then the executive will take decisions about it, and the same the judicial with the legislative, okay? So, basically, I am controlling, but at the same time, I am being controlled, okay? Clear? Perfect. Point number 3. Point number 3.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, you have a question.
How is free education a form of way to express free speech?
Ways of express.
Free speech.
Okay, yes. I will explain you with an example. That is terrible and is sad and is true. If in one school the teachers are teaching you how to develop the critical thinking, okay? You can take the newspapers and you can read that this is biased, for example, okay? We have, for example, Donald Trump, okay? We have newspapers that are against Donald Trump and newspapers that defend all the time Donald Trump, okay? You can understand that, okay? And if the teachers give you those tools, that is an option. But additionally, teachers, because they are normal citizens, okay? We are normal citizens, have an opinion, they can express that opinion, okay? The idea is to avoid it, okay? That is my recommendation, okay? If I hate this political branch, or if I love this political ideology, well, I will explain you both, and then you take the decision, okay? But what if I am prohibited to express only one of those options? You can't know it, okay? So you will go to the streets, you will go to the polls to vote, okay? And basically, you will take a biased decision. Is it clear, Asil?
So, free education, it allows teachers within educational institutions to dictate their opinions about the government, whether it be for the government or against it.
Yes, yes. But the idea, in other words, is to explain in a balanced way the ideologies. For example, the last year we studied communism and capitalism. Do you remember? Probably in the Soviet Union, that was not democratic, okay? I will only explain communism, okay? Or if I explain capitalism, I will describe it like the biggest monster in this planet, okay? Because it's biased, okay? But if I am free in a democratic society, I can explain you what are the principles of capitalism, what are the principles of communism, and you understand what are the mistakes involved, okay? And you say, I consider that capitalism is the best option, okay? For example. Clear? Good. 4. This sounds simple, but it's huge. And for me, I always say this is the biggest characteristic of a democracy, is that the law is the most important. Okay? Or that the law is above all. Okay? Nothing, no one is more important than the law. Okay? And here we go again to your opinion, Amira, that you talk about the king. Okay? In Spanish, we have a sentence that, if I translate, doesn't sound that good, but it's obvious, because in Spanish I say, I like it, okay? In Spanish we say, el rey es la ley, okay? In English, that is, the king is the law, okay? And that means that in the Middle Ages, the king could do whatever he wanted with the people, with the money, with the war, with the army, with everything, because he was the king, okay? And that is terrible, okay? Nowadays, we know that even the president, okay, if he commits a crime, he will be judged, and if he has to go to the jail, he will go to the jail, okay? Because no one is above the law, okay? The law is the most important thing in a society.
That still doesn't happen.
We are saying, yes, we are talking,
This is the perfect
yes,
democratic.
we are talking
Yeah,
about
that doesn't
the
exist.
ideal expression of democracy, no? We are saying the principles. Now, if you go and you analyze in detail your society or another society, you will find that sometimes this is not that perfect. But anyway, when you read the book, okay, when you read the instructions, you find this, okay? Maybe in practice that is not true, but we will try to believe it, okay? Do you have any example of something that demonstrate this? That the law is more important than the powerful people?
What do you call it when the president gets kicked out?
Impeach.
Impeachment?
Yeah.
An impeachment?
There's this one American president that was impeached for like relationships with Marilyn Monroe or something.
Yes, for example, Donald Trump faced an impeachment, okay,
Okay.
because of a possible conspiracy, okay, with Russia in order to get the presidency, okay. And in the 70s, Richard Nixon had to quit, okay, because a newspaper, I guess it was the New York Times, but maybe I'm wrong, discovered that he was spying the opposition, and that is illegal and that is terrible because basically he is prohibiting the opposition to do what they have to do. Okay, if I put a microphone in your house, okay, in order to listen your private conversations, okay, that is illegal. Okay, even worse if you are the president and what we imagine is that you have to follow the rules. Okay, you have to follow the laws. So he was forced to quit. Okay, and in a lot of places and in different countries, we have examples, and this is very important. Okay, of people, normal people. I will say, I'm not saying that the president is not normal, but okay, like people like a teacher, football coach, or I don't know, your mom or your dad, okay, denounced, okay, went to a trial with president or a very important person, and no matter what, if you are guilty, you are guilty. Okay? Yes, tell me.
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay, because I thought you wanted to say something. Finally, this is the last thing, okay? Normally, in a democracy, okay, you have a division between religion and the government. But what we say, because for example, Qatar has a mix between religion and law,
Sharia law.
okay, the Sharia law, is that if you consider that your religion can guide your society, okay, but you respect other religions. And here in Qatar, that is true, okay? I know Christians, and maybe here in this classroom we have Christians, okay? And that is not a problem, okay? You can go to the church, you can practice your religion freely, okay? This is very important. If the religion is guiding your government and is excluding people, okay, or even worse, persecuting people because of their beliefs, we have a very critical case of non-democratic regime, okay? But if you can express your religion freely, like in this country, well, that is solved, okay? We have no problem here. This is part, and all these things are the product of the ancient Greece, the English Civil War, etc., etc. But mostly, we will discover that this is because of the American Revolution and the French Revolution, okay? Mostly the French Revolution. To finish, just to finish, we can say that the two big principles, okay, the two big values that we have here, okay, like the human rights, for example, the two big values that express why democracy is important is because we have freedom, okay, and equality, okay. Those principles are basically like the ideal expression of democracy, okay? Only possible if you follow these steps. Clear? Perfect. Okay, I will finish here.